Right, quick mic check. Alright, let's get going. I think we left off like before investigation, so this will be interesting. Yeah, so I can't. Oh no, I can't remember where we what we had to do. I think we had to like look around because we've got to find Kirigiri and someone else. Okay, someone's been found. It had to be Celeste. It came from the floor above. She's on the third floor. I sprint up to the third floor.
Everyone!
Over here, everyone. Everyone who heard the scream had come running.
Just a second!
Celeste, what's wrong?
What?
That was rather intense scream for someone like you.
Okay.
I mean, I have to agree with that. Hang on. This alert won't stop appearing, I can see. We need to sort this out before we continue, because you can't have that just randomly keep popping up. If I disable all these, alright, should be good to go. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. Oh, I remember now, we were looking for this guy, and then Kirigiri as well. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and just disappeared. He must be down this hall. Come on, let's go. She seems confused. What is it now? Oh.
Huh?
Well, it's really true. But that doesn't matter right now.
No!
That's Hifumi.
Huh?
What's that?
Okay.
I came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in this. It's bad. Come on, we have to go back.
What?
What about the suspect? We've gone to all this trouble to capture him, right? Then why don't we split into two groups?
It's all clear now.
I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting.
So then...
Very well then. Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Sakura, and Toko.
So then...
We will handle it. Just go take care of it first. Okay, you guys be careful. With that, we split into two groups. Me and Celeste and Hina all ran downstairs to the first floor.
Just a second!
He's in the nurse's office. Let's go. Okay. Okay, let's go. We stormed into Memphis' office, and what we greeted us was a world of dripping crimson. Blood? Yep. Oof. Everything was covered in red. You mean pink. And in the center of all of this pink was Hifumi.
No! What the...
It looks like something very bad has happened. I simply was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would have been murdered.
No way!
Murdered. You're not serious, are you? He's not really dead, is he? Ding dong, ding dong.
A body has been discovered! After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
What the? That was the body discovery announcement. Body discovery announcement. When 3 or more people discover a body after a murder, that's what it is. And since we just heard it, that means must mean Hifumi, someone killed him. One of us. One of us. And look at that. And so she pointed something on the floor. Something that had also been on the floor after the last 2 surprise attacks. Hammer. Another hammer. Justice Hammer 3. And it's even bigger than the other 2. Just as I suspected. 1 strike from that and you are finished. Then the killer... There can be no doubt that a suspicious individual, going by what Hifumi did in, the culprit must be Robo. Whoever's hiding in that costume is the one that killed Hifumi. But wait. You saw him on the 3rd floor, right? Running back into the hall. So how did he end up in the nurse's office? You're not saying they like teleported or something, right?
Are you okay with this?
We can figure that part out later. Right now, we have to tell the others. You're right.
So then...
Then, shall we go? Hina, snap out of it.
Huh?
Huh? Are you okay, Hina?
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm not sure I can move right now. I'm feeling kinda... This is a problem. We can't just leave Hina here alone. Then I'll go get everyone. You stay here with Hina. Very well, I leave it to you then. Okay, I'll be back soon. I tried to sound confident and upbeat, but I still haven't stopped trembling from what I just been through. Everyone else is already on the 3rd floor after her. This is where everyone was chasing after the suspicious individual. Where was he headed? Ran off. So he headed further down into the hallway. You're going further down in the hallway. Way into the back of the hallway. No, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. I assume here. As far as I can tell, there's nobody here. We're still focusing on the door's open. I'm sure I can feel someone's presence. His presence. It's coming from over here in the back. I leaped through the doorway, and what? And when I did, I fell in another nightmare. The second nightmare of the day was waiting there to greet me. Ishimaru is dead too. That in the pool of his own blood was Tucker dead?
Dangan Ronpa.
Okay. Fumi's body discovered in the surface. Tucker's body discovered in the equipment room. I was witnesses to 2 nightmares, one right after another. No, they weren't nightmares. This is harsh reality. The true nightmare is this reality, the reality I have to face every day. But still, why is this happening? Oh, look, yeah, she's out cold. Because she's so funny. Okay, don't tell me Toko too. Relax, she just passed out when she saw the blood. The blood? Oh, that's right, and Toko's Toko. She has fear of blood. We've tried everything to get her to wake up, but no luck. Just leave her be for now. It's like he said, I should just leave her alone for now. Damn it, why did this happen? Just a Hammer 4? Yeah, it's even bigger than before. Is that suspicious? An individual responsible for coming back at you?
However,
Why is it just Hammer 4? And what do you mean? Just with attack with just a Hammer 2. Fumi was hit with just a Hammer 2. This time just a Hammer 4. What happened to number 3?
What?
What's the matter? Well, when you mentioned just a Hammer 3, you just reminded me.
What?
Out with it, do you know something? Actually, Tucker's not the only one that's been killed. Ifumi's dead too.
what?
What?
Hey!
Ifumi's been killed? Yeah,
I see.
which is why he came to get us. Then we better go check it out.
Damn!
Of course, let's go. So, Sakura and Byakuya and I rushed out to the physics. But as soon as we were out of the physics lab,
Oh,
Celeste, aren't you supposed to be waiting in the officer's office?
okay.
Something has come up. Yeah, I heard. Ifumi is dead, right?
Indeed.
Well, that is not all. It is gone. What's gone? It has disappeared. Disappeared?
Okay.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about? It's disappeared. Don't be ridiculous.
Come on.
Are you serious?
What?
What the heck is happening here?
Hey!
Everyone, back to the nurse's office. I practically beat down the stairs, nearly losing my balance. Then why would you do that? I reached the nurse's office completely out of breath. Yet the body is gone. I couldn't believe my eyes. Ifumi's body was there just a few minutes earlier. It just disappeared. Me and Celeste went to the bathroom. But we were only gone for like a minute. And then when we got back,
Indeed.
this must be the work of the culprit. They must have come and carried the body away. They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused.
Okay.
We're all going to die. We're all going to die, just like those guys did.
What did you say?
I don't believe this. I don't believe a body would just disappear.
Why?
First, There were 2 murders, and now one of the bodies has been taken. This is unnatural.
Huh?
Hold on, what do you mean 2 murders?
Hina.
Taka's been killed. We found him in the equipment room.
No way!
It can't be Taka 2. It can't be. It can't be.
No!
Hina.
Calm down. We're all gonna die, all of us. They're gonna kill us, they're gonna kill all of us. Then who might be the next target? Huh?
What?
I completely forgot. Forget, you mean forgot. I completely forgot. She's still unconscious in the equipment room.
Well,
You left her at the scene. We didn't have a choice. She passed out and she refused to wake up.
huh?
So she's still unconscious.
Damn.
Wait, so you knew she was still up there and said nothing? What? That annoying little insect that clings to me whenever I go. We'd better be off without her.
Bastard!
Nice. Calm down. You forgot about her, didn't you? You have no right to blame. Everyone stop fighting right now. We need to hurry back.
Huh?
I can't take this anymore. I don't want anyone else to die.
Damn.
Tony, if something happened to Toga, I'll never forgive you. We shot out the nurse's office and bolted up the stairs heading back to the 3rd floor. We ran back to the equipment room at full speed. And when we got there... Thank God, Jerry. But right away I noticed there's something very different here. The body's also gone. It was gone. Tucker's body, which should have been right here, had disappeared.
This
can't be happening. Are we hallucinating or this is something? No. It's not a hallucination. I know, I saw it before. And what I'm seeing now isn't what I saw before.
Huh?
What are you saying Tucker disappeared to?
Stop talking.
Stop saying disappeared. It didn't just vanish into thin air. Obviously whoever did this has hidden the body. But why would they do that? I couldn't possibly begin to imagine. Anyway, our costume suspect is clearly continuing his crime spree.
Huh?
We gotta hurry up and catch him before he kills all of us.
Not possible.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
Huh?
Think about it. Who could possibly be responsible for killing and hiding these dead bodies?
Well...
When Fumi's death cry went out, everyone here was together on the 3rd floor.
It is so.
After that, we split up into 2 groups. And now, this time, you all came here as a group from the nurse's office. In other words, the only ones who could have done this are Hiro and Kyo, who are still missing. Hold on a second. Kyoko has an alibi for when Celeste and Hifumi were attacked. There's no question that she was in the dining hall with us. You seem very... I don't know about defending that. Perhaps you are in that. That's not it at all.
That's fine.
Well, anyway, yes, I do accept Kyoko's alibi.
Let's see.
Which means that the suspicious individual we're looking for can only be none other than Hiro. further means there will be no more murders. The regulations are very clear about that. Oh, that's right. There's a rule. Says you can only kill a maximum of 2 people.
That's right.
That's the rule. As long as the rule is in place, there will not be a third murder. If there were, to break that rule.
Shing!
I'd mince you without a second thought. Mince it, grind it, turning it into paste. By the way, did you know that fish paste can also refer to shellfish, like shrimp or crabs? Indeed.
Let's see.
So, since 2 people have been killed, there is no possibility of any more.
Perhaps.
You knew that from the beginning, didn't you? Which means you knew Toko was never in danger. I still meant it when I said we better off without her.
In other words,
Anyway, with that in mind, we can now relax and search for the 2 missing bodies. The 2 missing bodies. 2 people have been killed, and their bodies have been hidden. The only one without an alibi, the only one who could have done it, it is Hiro. But is he really the killer? And what about Kyoko? If she's not involved in this case, where did she go?
what?
In Makoto. What's the matter? Oh, no, it's nothing. Whatever, we need to find those bodies, or our little narrative here can't move forward.
So then,
Very well. Then let us split up and begin the search.
but
There is no need to be afraid. No more murders will take place during this case.
cause I mean,
I know that. I think I do, but
Hina.
if you're still nervous, I'll come with you.
huh?
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
We need to. Then let's get moving. Yell out if you find anything. Togumi left the equipment room, followed by the others. I have to try and find the 2 missing bodies. You sure I can't just look in here for clues? Wait, wasn't there a thing here with wheels? Look, there's 2 wheel marks. Yeah, but look at the 2 wheel marks there. I don't know where to check. There's so many places to go to now that they could be anywhere. There's Hina and Sekiro.
Damn.
When you search for the bodies that have disappeared, what happens after that?
Huh?
The door must be locked. That was open before. They have to be in there.
Come on.
Why are you just standing there? We need to get to the repository. Huh?
Indeed.
I found it. If you mean Tucker's body have been hidden in the repository.
Goodbye.
Our Georgina will go on ahead. But where's the repository? Get down. Watch it. Watch me be right here. Like, we'll watch it. Everybody's. Watch me be right about this. So I opened the door, and when I entered, I saw. I was right! Thing is, like, how did she know? She has to be behind it, because how else would she have known? And how would the door have been unlocked? Because it was locked when we checked. The two bodies that had disappeared were right there. The smell of blood made me gag. What I saw before my eyes was unquestionable, unavoidable, unwavering reality. And then I heard the announcement for a second. Dina, Nina.
A body has been discovered after a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like. The class trial will begin.
And so here we are.
It's the Monokuma file!
I was going to hand them out when you found the bodies the first time, but I thought something might happen.
What?
It was really hard to resist, but turns out I was right.
Stop talking.
Just hand it over already.
Punishment is waiting for you!
Now make sure to investigate with all your mental might and prepare for the class trial.
See ya later!
Well then, that we found the bodies, all that's left is to uncover the culprit.
What the heck?
Hold on. How can you be so calm? I mean, they're dead, you know?
That's terrible!
Dead. Gone forever. They're never coming back. Awful. This is all just too awful. Hina suddenly burst into tears. She clutched at Hifumi's lifeless body.
Who would do this? Why? Why?
Large red tears fell from her eyes. The tears landed on Hifumi's cheeks. If this were some world in make-believe, that might have been when Hifumi opened his eyes. But this wasn't the movie. This was...
He's alive again? Where am I? Cold. So cold. Is winter coming?
Hifumi! Wake up!
Huh? That's right. I remember now. Hope's Peak.
Come on, you gotta wake up!
I remember everything before I met you all. I met you all.
His memories are all blending together. He has nothing useful to offer us.
The light. It's reaching out to me like the tail of a comet.
Hey, Hifumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you?
Who killed me? That's right. I remember their name. Yasu. Hiro.
his eyes closed, and they never opened again. Death for the second time. Absolutely undeniable death. No matter how many more of Venus' tears splashed his face, there was no second miracle reality set in again. This isn't some stereotypical fantasy where tears can't destroy a person's vitality.
Honestly,
You have no tears, do you? No blood in your veins, no calcium in your bones, at least you have your meat.
Stop talking.
You're just angry. Going out of his way to return, just to leave us with unnecessary dying words. Now this game has become exceedingly boring. He said Yasuhiro, right?
then perhaps.
Yasuhiro Hagakure. That is the only person he could have been referring to.
So, in other words,
With that case is solved. Assaulting people and even killing them to pack that into a few. And going so far to hide dead bodies. A criminal that hides his face behind a mask uses a bunch of giant wooden hammers. Is that what a hero is?
What is this?
If it's true, I can't forgive him. No way. I can never forgive him. To kill two of our friends.
that's fine.
Anyway, it's about time we track down the culprit. Or our little life or death game. Although this time it's not all about life or death. The trial will conclude without much trouble.
Indeed.
Yes, it does look that way. It's going to begin again. We have to go through this one more time. I have to accept it. I have no choice but to go through with this to make sure everyone survives. I just have to do it. Investigation. First I check the Monica files. The victims were Hifumi, Yamada, and Hirotaka Ishimaru. The cause of death for each was a blow to the head. It is thought that they were both killed with a similar weapon. That's it.
Very strange.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. We got way less information at this time than before. That is no problem after all. The events of this case have unfolded before our very eyes. We should know more about what happened than the one from the past, didn't you? Maybe.
Well,
There's something else bothering me. Someone else has been missing for quite a while. Are you talking about Kyoko?
perhaps.
Without a doubt, she has an alibi for when Celeste and Fumi were attacked. But what if the killer wasn't acting alone, or if they had an accomplice? An accomplice? Accomplice. What are you doing here?
Monokuma appears!
Don't be rude, I'm here to answer your question. What question?
Yep.
We're talking about accomplices, right? I'm pretty sure I explained it before, didn't I, during the first class trial?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
In other words,
So basically, you can be an accomplice if you want, but there's no gratification for it.
So then,
So are you saying nobody worked together this time either?
hey,
Sorry, you can't answer that. It would obstruct the free exchange of information between you guys. I just want to make sure you don't forget, no matter how much you might mess it into another.
Phew!
Only one blackened can graduate, and the accomplice gets nothing.
So, in other words,
Then we only need to figure out who that one blackened is that did the kill. Right. Just like normal.
Well,
Okay, let me take this opportunity to clarify. In this class trial, what you need to determine is
extreme!
the one true blackened who devised the murder plot and put it into action. The true blackened, so just one person.
Well now,
That's enough for explaining. Now it's down to the final battle between all of you and the blackened. Good luck to all contestants. So there can only be one blackened and an accomplice wouldn't benefit. Then I can't see any way Kyoko would be connected to this case after all. You may be right. If that's true, then Kyoko. Alright.
however,
As long as she's not connected to the case, it doesn't matter. Let's get back to the investigation.
Indeed.
I have absolutely no doubt that Hero is responsible. But for the time being, I suppose it can't hurt to pursue further information.
So,
You know, don't you think we should consider searching someone else suspect just in a case? I'm talking about the murderous fiend, genocide jail.
what?
What? I'm offended.
Oh!
When did you? I've been looking all over for you, Master. When I woke up, you were nowhere to be found.
You SOB!
Anyway, you there, Milk Sack Swimmer Girl.
Huh? You've gotta be kidding!
Where do I go? Be a suspect.
What the heck?
I mean, you are a serial killer.
What?
So what? I'm like a special guest suspect every time. I have an alibi. She's right about that. When we heard Fumi scream, she was with me. When the bodies disappeared, she was still lying unconscious in the equipment room. Plus, Tako's body aside, I can't imagine any way she would have been able to move Fumi's body.
Yep.
Besides, I calculate every move I make. I'm not going to kill someone when everyone knows what I look like. Don't call me the murderous fiend for nothing.
What are you saying?
And that's not the kind of thing you should be bragging about.
Let's see.
On another topic, should we post a guard by the bodies like before? We can't have them disappearing again.
so then,
Hina and I can handle that. You don't mind, do you, Hina? Sure, I'd totally be useless on the investigation anyway.
it's all clear now.
Then that's that. Let's begin. This whole thing is just so strange. All but one of us has an alibi, so figuring out who did it should be obvious, right? But maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as it seems. The hammers were different sizes, hanging on the wall, although some are more like mallets. That Could the Justice Hammers have been designed using these as a model? Either way, all the hammers have obviously seen a lot of use. They're all covered in debris and chalky stone powder. But for some reason, this one hammer isn't dirty at all, it's just wet. Did someone wash it recently? Nice. So it doesn't have a handle. It did though. I saw this in the art room before. I guess it used to move statues. It's kind of awkward, but if you bend down, it's not too hard to use. But wait. Wasn't this in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? Yeah, I was right. And look at the wheel. There's a blood stain on it. So there's blood on the wheel of the dog that was moved from the equipment room to the repository. What's the explanation for that? Finney's big cold body is laying on the floor. His really big body. I mean, how on earth was he able to move something so big? From the nurse's office where he was discovered to here, the repository. All the way from the first floor to the third, and all without anyone noticing it. How the heck? It's no good, I just don't get it. I can think about it later, but for now I have to finish investigating Hifumi himself. If I remember correctly, Hifumi's fatal injury was also a blow to the head. Probably from Justice Hammer 3, which was laying on the floor in the nurse's office. Wait. Something's off about his body. Why am I getting this feeling? Something's different. Something about Hifumi's body in the nurse's office versus his body right now. That's it, his glasses. When his body was in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered in blood. But now they're completely clean. Does that mean someone wiped his glasses off? But who would do that, and why? Taka healed, never move again. According to the Montgomery file, he died from a blow to the head. We found Justice Hammer 4 near his body in the equipment. Is that what was used to kill him? There's a tart laid out under his body. Did the killer use it to move Taka's body? That way there wouldn't be any blood left behind while the body was moved. I don't see anything else around. You think he really did it? I don't see how anyone could think otherwise. When the attacks and murders and disappearances all happened, every one of us had an alibi. The last thing Hifumi said when he died, he said, heroes.
So, in other words,
there is no room to suspect anyone else. Okay, but if he did do it, why would he hide his identity with that weird costume? Maybe he thought that no matter what happened, he'd be safe as long as his face was covered. Because he's the fool of the century, you see. I mean, he is kinda dumb. But do you really think that's enough to explain it? I feel like there's a clue hiding in there somewhere.
What?
And is that it? That's all that bothers you about the cases? Well, no. There are a few other things. Like, why did the killer try to hide the bodies? They probably figured that if we can find the bodies, we can complete our investigation. But if that's the case, we found the bodies pretty easily, didn't we? Again, it comes back to the fact that the culprit was a mole. Is that really all there is to it? The other thing that bothers me is, why did they bother killing two people?
What?
Because all the rules say if you can kill someone, get away with it, you'll graduate, right? So if you're the killer, your number one priority is not getting caught. But killing two people means more clues, more chances you'll get found out.
I see.
Hold on. Perhaps. I see, so that's what that meant. Is everything okay?
That's enough.
Don't talk to me as if you're friends. Boss with the attitude. But you have my appreciation.
Goodbye.
Thanks to you, I might have some fun with this after all. His mysterious words hung in the air as he left. He talked as if he'd figure out something. But if he did, what would it have killed him to tell me what it was?
So,
Yeah, look at it. I've been thinking about something. It's about the repository. And what is it? After Hifumi and Taka's body disappeared, we split up and looked around, right? After all you scared, me and Sakura stuck together.
but
And we came right to the repository. To, look around. But when we got here, the repository was locked. We couldn't get inside. It was locked. And we came here as soon as the search started, so there's no way someone could have beat us here. So if that's true, then who locked it and why is it unlocked now? I wonder the same thing. The door was locked when the search for the bodies began. But now it's wide open. There might be some secret lurking in there. But I'll probably have to leave this area to figure it out. There are many aspects to the incident, this time too many to be honest. Considering that it may be good to look back on it and think that's happened.
So then,
Would you like my help? Yes. Yeah, let's look back on this. This morning only 4 of us met up at the dining room. Hina, Kyoko, you, and myself. We waited for the others, but nobody showed up, so we decided to go look for them. It was around 8 o'clock when we began our search. And soon after we split up, Kyoko disappeared. After that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room on the 3rd floor. Then quickly came and got you, and according to Celeste, she was attacked by a suspicious individual and lay unconscious for about an hour. Otherwise, she was attacked an hour before we found her, meaning just after 7. Based on the picture Celeste took, we discovered her attacker was dressed in a strange costume. It was Robo Justice. It also became clear that this Robo Justice had dragged Hifumi away. After meeting up with Toko and Togami, we began searching for the costume descendant. We found an injured Hifumi in the library on the 2nd floor. We took him down to the nurse's office on the 1st floor and resumed our search. But not long after leaving the nurse's office, was I saw a shadow, something moving on the top of the stairs. Based on Celeste's claim, we went back up to the second floor where we split up and began searching. Then, right after that, Celeste screamed. This time she had apparently seen the suspect on the third floor. Hearing her screams, we quickly made our way to the third floor. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him. The strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I could scream. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared. And then... What was that? I came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is where we have to go back. At that point, we decided to split up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office. Meanwhile, you, Takumi, and Toko pursued the suspect on the third floor. And when we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi's corpse, which also when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina alone and headed back to the third floor to tell the others what happened.
However,
But at the same time, we discovered Tucker's body in the equipment. Which means Hifumi and Tucker's bodies were discovered right around the same time. Because I remember hearing the body discovery announcement play right after finding Tucker. That's when I showed up and told you and told me that Hifumi had been killed. Then you, me and Togumi all headed back to the nurse's office, leaving behind Toko who had fainted. But as soon as we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste who just arrived to tell us something very unusual. Hifumi's body has disappeared. We'd hurried back to the nurse's office to discover that his corpse was in fact gone. Then we remembered we had abandoned the unconscious Toko and rushed back to the equipment. This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating or all this or something? This time, Tucker's body has disappeared. So from there, we began our search for both of the missing bodies. And after some time, Celeste told us she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository. And then we rediscovered the two bodies that had apparently vanished. That brings us up to now.
however,
Looking back, things have certainly been very active. If you want to look back at the case again, just let me know. I'm fine anytime. There's only one room through the door that he said was locked. Definitely a lock on door, but only had lock from the inside. I don't see any way to lock it from the arc. The door can only be locked from inside the repository, which makes me wonder. Hina and Sakura confirmed that the door was locked after we started looking for the missing bodies. And the door is designed so that it can only be locked from the inside of the repository. In other words, when Hina checked it, someone had already gone in the repository and locked the door. And they unlocked it and left, which is why it's unlocked now. But Hina claims that there's no way someone could have beaten them through the door. So let's send someone. There's got to be a clue around here somewhere. Maybe I should check somewhere else. There's some places I already know about. Specialist's office where Hifumi was found, then the equipment where the attack was found. I hate how loud that is. There's the crazy chick in this picture. I was sneaking right here when the killer carried the body away.
What?
I'm super peeved. I missed such an ultimately rare event. There's some kind of tire mark that I need to pull the phone from the building. How much about the dolly and the refrigerator? There's a blood stain on its tire. Could that blood have come from here? Which could mean that Tanka's body was moved from the equipment room using the repository dolly. Both rooms are on the 3rd floor, so that should definitely have been possible. But even if the dolly was used to move Tanka's body, what about Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office on the 1st floor? Even with a dolly, there's no way to get it up to the 3rd floor. That's still a total mystery. This time, I feel like I've seen it somewhere before, I'm just recently to it. Yeah, the repository. I want to quickly check the rest of the floor. Was she really attacked with this justice number 1? What the heck is with this thing? Okay. Just quickly check everything. pretty sure this wasn't possible last time. So first floor nurse officer. Next. What are you investigating? I am not investigating. I am precisely speaking. I'm simply going around seeing if Hero might be hiding something. What about you? Oh, you know, I'm just checking this and that. The main thing on my mind is how someone could have moved from this body.
Let's see.
How the family was moved from. Well, when it disappeared, you were supposed to be in the nurse service, right?
Yes, indeed.
Correct. Hina was not feeling well, so I stayed behind her to look after her. She seemed to be getting worse, so I took her to the bath. And when you got back, the body was gone. We could not have possibly be gone for more than a minute or two. Yeah, Hina said the same thing. When the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time,
Indeed.
it would seem so. To carry off someone's body, someone as big as Hifumi in only a couple of minutes is... I can't think of it as anything less than impossible. Justice hammer, but one that was used to kill. Someone moved your body, but left a weapon behind. There's a bunch of blood packets in here for blood transfusions, I guess. It doesn't help me though, I'm not a vampire. Just not something inside. It's too small to be a handkerchief. It's a glasses cleaning bottle. It's got some kind of cartoon character on it. Yeah, but it's also covered in blood.
Oh!
Oh, did you find something? Yeah, cleaning cloth in the trash can.
Huh?
The cleaning cloth. And it's all bloody. Whoever this belonged to must have used it to wipe out some blood. We need to do something like that. I haven't the slightest idea. Yeah, me either. But I think it might be important. Well, first of all, who's the only one that likes anime in this like little group of people? Ifumi. And who wears glasses and who needed to clean them? Ifumi. When it disappeared, you were supposed to be in the lost.
Yes, indeed.
Already read this.
Indeed.
Where to go now? That's this where you are. I've been looking for you. Pen? I wanted to thank you for what you did. Not that you meant, but you ended up making this a little game about. It's very interesting indeed. You should go to Heroes Room. And let me give you this. This is the note hero which get us all up to meet up there. You and stuff like the penmanship was pretty remarkable, so it left an impression.
It's all clear now.
Anyway, this makes it clear, right? This isn't true. What is? Things grow ever more exciting. What are you talking about? I've already repaid my debt. I don't owe you any more explanation.
Goodbye.
Good. So you said to go to Heroes Room, but what's right for there? Guess we're going to the domes. Heroes Room. I'm guessing it's just this one, yeah. Doors unlocked, I guess the no time. Wait, where is that? It's that one time page. Where did he even get it all from? More importantly, he still hasn't turned up. Which means you can't really complain if I don't get his permission to search this room, right? At least sound as we check it out. It's nothing like that. It's pretty grungy now. How does the bathroom even get this there? I think there's some trouble about it's blueprints for something else. Something's made out of, it was like cardboard and plastic and pasta. This is for the justice, and it's in here as well. But look, these blueprints. Something about them bothers me. Big news, big news. What's wrong? We found Kira. Is she okay? Where is she? Wait, I wasn't done. There's more big news.
Just a second!
Robo Justice showed up too. Robo Justice. It's Hero wearing the costume.
Okay.
Anyway, as soon as you can head to the pool on the second floor. So I think Hero and Kyoko will turn up at the same time. Anyway, I have to head to the pool. I run off to the second floor, so I'll stop there. And I called it. Oh my god, I called it. Kyoko and
I mean...
and I have had the worst day. Yeah.
Right.
I found him where he was jammed into the pool locker. But like he was fast asleep, so I kicked him and he woke up.
Don't be mean!
I still can't believe you kicked me. You could have been a little more gentle about it, like, I don't know, caress my face or something.
What?
That's creepy. Anyway, Jojo, where have you been all this time? You just disappeared all of a sudden without a trace.
Well,
There was something I had to check up on. What do you mean? Never mind. I can't. Never mind.
it's nothing.
Never mind.
Hey,
More importantly, she says that, but does she have an idea? Does she know people think she might be spying for the mastermind?
and?
First of all, here, you need to explain to us why you're dressed like that.
I mean,
Oh, well, I mean, I have no idea. 1 second I was asleep, don't even know how that happened, then I woke up, and then I was... I don't care, do something about that costume. It pains me just to look at you.
huh?
Well,
Let me out of here!
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help. Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself?
You got it all wrong!
I didn't make this stupid friggin' thing.
It would seem...
There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting the jump. It looks pretty sturdy, don't you? I don't think you can get it off on your own. You don't really have a choice to let's help. It took everyone's help, but we slowly were able to get Hero out of the suit. It took a few minutes, but eventually we got all the pieces off. We were free at last. Isn't it kind of weird how perfectly the suit fits here?
So then,
More to the point, nobody but Hero would be able to wear that costume. Wait, what? Hold on a second.
honestly,
Don't bother trying to act this. The blueprints were in your room as well.
is that okay?
In other words, it is obvious to who that you which costume. That's true, I saw the blueprints myself. Yeah, me too.
Could it be...
Then Chocolate is the one who put this costume on and went around attacking.
That's terrible!
It was Hero. Shall we tie him up and gag him?
Just the worst.
Good idea, we wouldn't want him cleaning us.
What?
Time out. Hold on, guys. I think that's going a little far.
That's right.
He may be a suspect, but he deserves fair treatment. Yeah, I mean, attacking blueprints. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
What the heck?
You can't talk your way out of this. It's been decided. You killed them.
Please!
What? Killed who? I have no idea what you're talking about. There must be a fake hero right now.
What are you saying?
You're the only one who can wear this costume. So who else could possibly be a costume detective?
What the heck?
Oh, you know, I'm the only one. Maybe you should try it on yourself before you can do it.
Okay.
And if you're gonna be a jerk about it, I will. Now, missing a bit, Hina start putting on the costume. Robo-Justice costume.
Huh. See? Look. See
you have
how
it.
loose it is? I mean, come on. I'm blind as a bat in here.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist.
That's not a very nice thing to say.
I mean, it's not like I made it. I just got caught up in the moment.
Well, either way, now we know for sure, right? I mean, it seems pretty clear that nobody but Hiro could have fit into this dumb costume.
In a huff, Hina took the suit back off again.
Ah.
Well, now you're all out of excuses. No, I see. It's because you're a girl. If it was another guy, then. Because you're a girl. Okay. Against my will, I picked up pieces of the floor and tried putting them out. It's no good. The arms are too long. There's no way of.
Just a second!
See, I told you. Impossible. You're absolutely right.
But
Then there's another costume. They must have one that looks the same. But it fits that.
Honestly.
If you insist on this line of defense, then show us some evidence.
what the heck?
Evidence. UK, there is another suit, yes? And you must find it and show it to us. What the heck?
Just the worst.
Who cares? Hero's the only one without an alibi during this whole thing anyway.
That's terrible!
Which is how we know it was him.
What?
I mean, is that really true? I have no idea what's going to happen. Someone, tell me?
What the heck?
If you didn't tell me what's going on, how am I supposed to understand? I think I figured out that someone's being killed. Who was it? 2 people were killed, Tucker and...
What?
What, 2?
Just the worst.
Why are you freaking out? You did it.
Please!
I did not.
Huh?
Wait, hold on. If those 2 are the only ones that were killed...
How about that?
That's it, I know who did it.
So then,
You may as well tell us that. Tucker and Hifumi were fighting over alter ego, right?
I'm at least 30%
Alter
right!
ego, or Chihiro must have done it. It broke the dead!
correct.
I see, that's unfortunate.
Please!
Huh? Unfortunate.
What the heck?
Stop trying to trick us, just admit that you did it, okay?
Oh, so then.
I know that, Last night someone slipped a weird note under my door. And here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. One human can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 AM. But the last thing I remember is going to the rec room, then for some reason I fell asleep.
Hey!
The real killer probably drugged me or something.
Just the worst.
Not a chance.
So,
No, hold on, he could be onto something. The nurse's office did have chemicals that could do that.
Huh?
What, really? I told you someone's trying to set me up. Secret passage, a chance to escape. Someone who wrote all that to trick me.
Ah.
Even if that's true, you must be one dumb fish to bite every piece of bait that puts in front of you. Well, after being trapped here so long, even if you know it's a lie, you still got to check, right? They preyed on my desire to get out of here. They deceived me.
Ah.
I still don't buy it.
Don't be mean!
Well, you should buy it.
Just a second.
I didn't show us that note. With pleasure, I have it right here in my pocket.
No way!
Looks like that.
Ah.
Please!
I wouldn't hurt that. As I said before, if you want us to believe you, you must produce evidence. Can you show us the note? I have no particular issue with that, with what you claim, but if you want us to believe you, give us a reason. Now then, shall we resume our investigation? There's no time to waste before the trial begins. Why do we need to keep investigating? We already know who did it.
What the heck?
Why did you go and tell us here? It's
Ah!
like I said.
Just the worst.
Was it really to get the money Monokuma offered us? Yeah, that must be it. You must totally be brave. And that's why.
Please!
That's a false accusation. Someone help me.
What are you saying?
Just be thankful we haven't bound and gagged. If you have time to yell and carry on, you have time to search for your evidence, right?
What?
Oh, you're right. I need to look for the second suit and that note. Feet, don't fail me now. I guess I'd better get back to my guard duty. As I was gonna ask Toka, Genocide Jack to switch with me. But if she and Sakura got into a fight, we'd have a catastrophe on our hands. Well, thanks. One by one, everyone peeled them.
Makoto.
Do you have a second? Huh? I want you to help me out with the investigation.
It would seem...
Listen, I got a late start on this one, so I need to make up some ground. Sure, I don't mind helping, but can you promise me something? Later when we have time, will you tell me why you disappeared?
Why is that?
No. To reject me so soon.
Anyway,
I need your help. You don't mind, do you? Okay,
shall we go?
thanks. Now, shall we?
Hey,
So, Makoto, first, I'd like to examine the corpses. I can't believe I'm hearing that from a girl the same age as me.
correct.
Dead bodies don't lie, you know. They tell the truth far more easily than the living.
Hey,
Wouldn't you agree? How am I supposed to answer?
anyway,
Anyway, we have to hurry before the class trial begins. Yeah, you're right. Okay then, show me where the bodies are. They're in the repository, then I guess we should head that way. That's all the way on the 3rd floor. You couldn't just put me up there or something? Pay me attention. For a moment, Cooper seemed to go rude. But only for a moment.
so then,
Well then, let's get started. She crouched down next to Taka without hesitation, began poking and prodding around the bodies.
I knew it.
The non-chemicals were out. They were killed using a similar weapons. Her movements were so smooth, she was so calm. Seeing how comfortable she was actually made me feel a little more comfortable.
I see.
Which I found something. You did?
Hey,
Remember the wristwatch Tucker always wore on his left hand? You did?
whew.
Are you so oblivious to the people around you? Just like other people that much? No, that's not it. Anyway, so you said he had a watch.
So then,
Take a look. It's broken. You can see his hands aren't moved. His aren't moving. It's most likely broke when he had his encounter with his assailant. And if you notice, the hand half froze just past 6 o'clock. That means the watch was broken sometime just after 6.
that's right.
But last night, Tucker's watch definitely was broken. Wait, how long were you going to keep us waiting? It was pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wrist. It's almost 10 o'clock. You know that. Bedtime for all little boys.
In other words,
So if it worked at 10 last night, it couldn't have been broken at 6 p.m. It must have happened at 6 this morning. Broken wristwatch has been added to the true bullet section.
however,
And that's not all. Look at Tucker's left hand. He appears to be gripping something. Yeah, there's something white there.
Makoto,
Can you try and pull it out?
because
Rigor Mortis has already said boys are better suited to this kind of labour. As much as I didn't want to, I grasped Tucker's cold hand. Ice cold hand was nearly enough to cause my heart to stop. After some time, I was finally able to free the object from its tightly clenched wrist. Piece of paper.
Hey,
Was that all that was in his hand? Yeah, that's it. Just a little scrap of paper doesn't seem like much of a clue.
is that right?
I wondered about that. Then onto Hifumi's
So
body.
then,
Let's check Hifumi's body. Perhaps he left us a few pieces of his own. The biggest problem I have right now is how the killer was able to move Hifumi's massive body from the surface without anyone noticing it. I just can't see how that's possible. Whether it seems to from both the hair, which is one theory, but when we found his body in this was okay. Well, I examined it, now you. So did you find it?
indeed.
I did more than I expected, to be honest. Look at this. Oh, what a...
That's right.
If Fumi had it hidden on it.
Indeed.
He stuffed it in his pants, so I can only assume he hidden it on purpose. In his pants, wait, so you...
Why is that?
It was just his pants, not like his socks or something. I don't know what that means.
Hey,
Anyway, let's take a look at the paper. Go ahead, Mother. When I think of how it was stuffed down his pants, it's like... It better be important. If whom or are those two pieces. In out. I found a hole, maybe we can use it to escape. One thing we can't find out, so don't tell anyone else. For now, let's move in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
so...
That sounds very familiar. That's it. It's the same thing Hiro said when he was telling us the truth.
However,
Although it's not exactly the same, is it? Last night someone slipped a weird note under my door. And here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. One thing we can't find out, so don't tell anyone else. For now, let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. The time is different. Hiro told us that it said meet 1 a.m. No, 6 a.m.
is that right?
Hold on, just because Hifumi had the note doesn't mean it was meant for me.
So...
Part of it had been torn off, right? I think there's likely some meaning to that. There's some part of it correct. Could you maybe explain this a little more? Think it.
Hey,
Why have you been clutching that scrap paper so tightly? I have no idea.
so then...
What if it wasn't just a scrap paper when he was holding it? What if it was something more important? And how would something important like that become a mere scrap paper? That's what you need to answer.
Hey,
And while we're at it, I should tell you one other thing. The two victims this time definitely had the e-handbooks. The handbooks have nothing to do with how the murders were carried out. Not that there was any reason to think they were connected to the killings in the first place. So you're saying I don't have to think about the handbooks this time, right?
is that right?
If you didn't have to think about them at all, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to mention it. All I said was that they weren't used to help carry out the murders. There may come a point, however, where a handbook may play a role. I don't think that's, but if you think it's important, I'd better keep it in mind. Need a me one. Class trial time.
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's time for the class trial to begin! Like the bright burst of fireworks, like the flash of a soul clashing with life and death. And so, with no further ado, everyone, please meet at the usual spot. make your way to the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon!
It would seem...
It's unfortunate, but I suppose this is where our investigation comes to an end. You have to figure out the rest for yourself and come to the proper conclusion. Yeah, you're right.
Shall we go?
Well, we'd better get going. Okay. Right, guys, I will be right back. Right guys, I am back. Let's continue with this. Everyone had heard Valkyria's proclamation, and they were gathered by the red door. And soon we were all there.
Monokuma appears!
It's true. He's multiplied.
Wrong!
No, not multiplication. It just looks that way because of an illusion. I mean, so fast it only looks like I can. Can you guys tell which one is the real one?
Whew.
Can we just get to the other?
Boy! Tough crowd.
You're not playing hard.
Stop talking.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hey! Hey!
And if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the plane train and elevator. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Hold on, I'm not mentally prepared.
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore here. You're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
I didn't do it for serious.
Hmm.
That reminds me, did you ever find the other costume or the note? Well, come on, costume.
Hey,
This isn't no place to talk about it. Save your accusation for when you get to the court.
That's right.
She's right, let's get down there, then destroy the plane really again. Yeah, good idea. That's right, I have to do it. I can't let whoever got Fumi get away with it. For everyone who's still alive. And for the two that lost their lives. The one who killed Fumi and Taka, the one who killed two of our friends. The killer is someone right here. I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own and the steel box began to move. The clunking kept us company as we fell further and further down. There was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open. Opening up onto a cool stage. Oh, so you're gathered together like this. I just realized how few there are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax.
Just the worst.
Mainly because of you. Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
Wah?
You really hate me so much, but I'm so cute.
Come on.
Stop goofing around and begin the trial. Don't rush me, of course I'm gonna start it. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed fast trial after this commercial break.
Yahoo!
I'd never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats. And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. Deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly fate, a deadly class trial. Yes. Yes. Set skills. Study your email effect during the non-stop debate. I literally only have two things that I've missed out on a lot.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it! You killed them!
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Says the murderer.
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
Is Hero really the killer, or before anything else, we have to make that clear. Make an argument, okay. That's the hero's message.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff. It's not true. It's a conspiracy.
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No, just hold on a second.
I'm looking at the blueprints and the handwriting on this. If I remember, the Hero's handwriting is...
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are...
No.
No, that's wrong. Are we sure Hero really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hero wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
What?
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
And of course, he passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
The suspicious individual in question. Here.
I got it! Other than Hero, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense! You just said Hiro didn't do it!
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What? Now that's a bold assumption! And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
Yes. These things are used.
I got it!
Dolly or Tar. There's still one more thing. blue top.
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Well, I've never heard anyone sound so nice while being so mean, but maybe I can change that. Going to explain to them when someone must have been moved and you can't even through a repository. A new element has been added. Yes. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo, you will see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't really been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements. But from now on, just locking on and pressing the left mouse button won't be enough to handle them. Now it will cost you one bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the tab key. Just like locking on, you'll have to press the tab key in time to tempo. Basically, just remember that the tab key now has a function along with the R&D mouse buttons. You will automatically reload at the start of fever time and your ammo will not decrease. But if your action difficulty is set to gentle, you won't have to reload it. In which case you can ignore everything I just said. Well then, good luck, have fun.
You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you! You miserable wretch! I cannot agree! You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch! You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
Yeet.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, does this really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then... what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
If I look at how the body was moved, you'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? Well, the fact you can't bend down at the waist.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
No, that's wrong. You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together, remember?
And not to mention, you certainly can't bend at the waist, seems like pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible! Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
There's absolutely no chance.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little. Why would you make something you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the freaking thing. There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting the car. Looks pretty steady. I don't think you can get it off the ground. We don't really have a choice. Let's help.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hiro wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right!
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
What did you say? That's what I said just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
Language.
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
I saw Shinobu's back to the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
and then... At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us, and she told us something very surprising. We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again. But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
Okay, let me clean up.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the
Justice hammers! Shoot!
You said about the numbering, so I followed it.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
I'll try the first ones.
We already know what order they were killed in.
Okay, not that one.
Shoot!
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
I don't know that.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in.
Shoot!
I'm down to my last one.
So, regarding Taka's death,
I wonder if he...
or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
I don't know then, because I've done every single one of them. They weren't... Oh.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in.
Tried this one, yeah. Game over.
Shoot!
Oh, never mind, we've got one chance to get this right.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before...
Or perhaps it was... We already know what Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
I give
Shoot!
up. There's nothing I can do. I've tried every single one of the things. Yeah, I want to give it.
I refuse to give up yet!
I tried everything. Right, then one thing.
So, regarding Taka's death,
I wonder if he... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order Taka came...
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice...
It's true that while Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So,
Regarding Taka, I wonder if, or perhaps it was. We already know Taka came last.
What makes you say?
Because of
The numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer, while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died, or perhaps it was after?
We already know.
Oh, what order they were killed.
No, that's wrong.
Is that really how it went? That's really frustrating.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
That's a long word. No, that's not it. This one? No. Watch.
Now I understand! I've got it! Taka's wristwatch! See? Look! It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night, so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe. When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said, his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is... we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was... alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
Okay, here we go again.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
It's only made once. I mean, yeah.
Are you saying that when we
First found Hifumi, there's a chance
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that surely you heard the body that
Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure that maybe the announcement was intended to signal
Someone else's
I
discovery.
hit the wrong thing.
Shoot!
I'm gonna fail this because I hit the wrong thing. Guaranteed.
Are you saying that when we first found
found Hifumi and that there's a chance you
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that surely you heard the body that
Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is why the announcement.
Are we really so maybe the announcement was intended
To signal someone else's discovery.
No.
Shoot!
I was trying to hold down, but
Are
my
you
mouse-
saying
that when we first found there's a chance you
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that surely you heard the body that Hifumi's dead, and that is why.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement
Was intended to signal someone
else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first
there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No,
Hifumi was dead,
And you know that how?
surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Bang.
No, that's wrong! Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
First time it played was when we found each body in there, so it's this one.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boo!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
Naturally. Yeah, there is.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
No, that's wrong! In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can. I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point, and the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... what exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Shoot! I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Ah! That's the note I was telling you about! The one that told me where to go! Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
I can't remember again.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong! No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka, just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note...
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly, which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi!
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow I should find the truth.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3?
Shoot!
What was used? Was it just maybe Justice Hammer?
Well, whatever, there's one thing. How was the culprit able to... How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to be...
Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Shoot!
What was used to
Kill Hif? Was it just maybe Justice?
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody
Sounds like a Justice Hammer. Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers!
No, that's wrong! The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
At least that's what we said.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid, even if more than one person, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people work together.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case,
However, there were two murders.
I failed.
Shoot!
We'll skip past all this because we've seen this a million times.
Is this... I refuse to give up yet!
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act can,
assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule...
but that only really applies if there's one murder. In this case, however, there were two murders.
based on the rules that have even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people work together on.
Shoot!
Okay, so I tried that, but none of that's why.
Based on the rules that have been laid, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people work.
Shoot!
Based on the rules that even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act,
assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together.
Shoot!
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really applies if there's one murder. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is how the rule.
But that only really applies. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Why does it keep disappearing whenever I go to it?
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really in this
case, however, there were two murders.
Then what is it? I tried everything.
Shoot!
based on the rules that have been
laid out, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really applies. In this
case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one,
only the one who actually carried out the act can, assuming the rule holds true.
No, that's wrong! Since there were 2 murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that 2 people could act as each other's accomplices to commit 2 separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating 2 separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Kiriko must have notes, which is why she said not to as a series of events but highly separate incidents. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now!
The true can manipulate things to carry out a number of actions in the end and murder them. In the debates up till now, the way the case is unfolded when you consider all that. There's really only one person who seems to fit. Well, who's the person who's been using Hifumi?
Here's my answer! It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the 2 of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the 2 of you were working together.
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said? We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
she let out a blood-curdling scream.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said? Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into two groups, so that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up. Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead, Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it! Everything! The whole thing was one big act!
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this.
It's obvious.
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around. They must be positive. We are all going to die. We are going to die.
Just like those guys died.
And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. What was so
Strange about Celeste's comment?
Shoot!
All I said was,
They must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be positively. We are all going to die here.
we are going to die.
Just like those guys
died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around. They must be positive. We are all going to die here. We are going to die.
just like those guys died.
I don't know then.
Shoot! I refuse to give up yet!
All I said was they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die here.
We are going to die. Just like those guys died.
I am clueless.
Shoot!
All I said was they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and
they must be positive. We are
all going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like those guys
died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was
they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. And that is.
And that's all it takes to finish this. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die.
We are going to die. Just.
No, that's wrong. That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
Way too long.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit
Was unconscious.
Shoot!
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across You tried to make me look like the bad-
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the suit, there's no way they could stand up straight.
No, that's wrong! No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not?
He said, and I quote,
Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
Shoot!
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk. How did he refer to each of us?
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal, but he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Fine! Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name?
Celestia Lodenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me...
No, that's wrong! That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before. So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what... Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again. From the beginning, and that'll bring every... The killer is... you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that... The killer is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. Here's exactly what happened. Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... I refuse to give up yet! The killer is you! Before anything, the killer... Here's exactly what happened. Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Hifumi, with an accomplice. The killer... First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was the murderous duo, and they drugged him, knocked. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it while they did when they. And then finally, they called Taka. And that's where Hifumi killed him. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer, the reason Hammer number 4. So, for these attacks, the killers, the first there, that they wanted to make sure the second fake incident, this time with these two incidents, that the we felt. Here's exactly what happened. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victim. The first fake incident was the attack in the There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2, and an injured with these 2 incidents that the suspect we fell right. The killer is you! So, for the first fake there, they wanted to make sure we this time, they planted with that the we fell right in. While we did that, this was He took a blood pad and turned the room into. He let it. So when we heard. We left the nurse, he simply got up when we learned and once. He wrapped Taka's. That explained. But even their plan, and they did it. That should cover. Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
I lost? I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you. trying to take charge.
I, Celestia Ludenberg.
Actually, Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
So, you finally.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or...
Right, guys, I'm going to quickly hit save, and I'm going to end the stream. I'll do a video on the execution, because I have run out of time. This has gone on long enough. The video will also be coming out today, so thank you all for watching.